Hey Guildies, Fletch here. If you were forced to get rid of any of the principles or values of the Agile Manifesto, which one would it be? Today I'm going to talk about the communication principle. Now, communication is of the utmost importance in any organization, for any team, anywhere. Communication is step number one to being able to be part of any team. It goes without saying that talking to people is much more effective and efficient than sending an email. And I think that's really what the core of this principle is, and that's why this is going to be probably the shortest video. The most efficient and effective method of conveying information to and within a development team is face-to-face conversation. Now, for 2001, there were video chat and voice chat options. And there were even a couple people who worked remotely, worked from home. As rare as that was, or as rare as it was to have distributed teams, people looked on it with such disgust that it was hard. Even asking for something like that was impossible. If you lived in the area, you're working at the company, you're commuting to work. The only reason that we wouldn't is if there's an entire team that's going to save us money, some offshore company, and it's like some company or some amazing person who has to consult for us, and they live in Germany or they live in some other country. So in that case, yes, we're going to have remote teams here and there. So that sort of thing happens, but they were very frowned upon, especially remote teams. A remote individual who specializes and has to consult a little bit, sometimes that's less frowned upon. But that's not really what this is saying. That's part of it. What this is really saying is if you are a corporation, you're the business people, and you're supposed to be collaborating, up here is the collaboration principle, you're supposed to be collaborating daily, then, and also, I'm not going over values yet, but this is very important and sort of central to this idea. Of course, remember that we value the items on the right, we value the items on the left more. So comprehensive documentation, no one values that. So just forget that. But documentation, yes, documentation is sometimes necessary. Working software is what we value more than documentation. I don't think anyone values the item on the right here as full comprehension anyway. But documentation is important. But that's more about what this principle is about. There's no actual connection between the principles and the values, no direct correlation. They're all agile, so they all have a little bit of correlation to them. But the idea is email and building up pages of documentation and putting thought into what you're doing is not effective. That sounds counterintuitive, but what's more effective is quick communication, unfiltered communication, and sorry, I'm just making sure I have chat stuff here. Concise communication, stuff that can happen very quickly with quick turnaround time, and we're talking to each other. This isn't for the purpose of we need this thing done or there's a bug or something like that, and we're just going to talk to you about it and leave. Of course, we need documentation for that. But we do not need comprehensive documentation, and it's far more effective to first and foremost, when a bug report comes in, especially if it's a big bug, it's not like, oh, someone's text was green instead of red or something like that. Some big bug comes in, it's more effective for the product owner or the stakeholder advocate to gather that information and make a judgment of, okay, should I talk about this right now or should we wait until tomorrow morning or what should we do? And let's get with the developers and talk to them about it. Because maybe the developers will say, that's not a bug, that's a feature. Or maybe they'll say, I can go fix that right now in 2 seconds. I think I've seen that before and I know where the code is. Or they might say, that's going to take a long time. Let's talk about it. Let's bring in this person. I think I sort of talked about that collaboration before. But this is the communication portion. This is where we want to bring some information to somebody's attention, and then we'll plan a collaboration more than likely. And we want that efficient and effective conveying of information to be real time. We don't want to say, okay, well, I need to convey this, that there's a bug to the development team, but I have to follow the bureaucracy. I have to make an email. I'm going to have to build up the bug report and put all the information in it. Sometimes a lot of that stuff needs to happen, but first and foremost, let's bring this to the attention of the team. And that's what the communication is, that we're going to be communicating what we're seeing, what's happening constantly. And a lot of communication in general is just stuff that you need to know to work on a team. This isn't how to do software development. It's equally, if not maybe more important in software development. So I can see a bit of why we put that in here. But as generalized as this is, if I had to remove one, I'd remove this this principle, because it's just so, of course communication is necessary. But also, we don't need face-to-face conversation. I would argue we didn't even need it in 2001. I didn't necessarily have a lot of face-to-face conversation. I had a lot of conversation in AIM, in AOL chat. And this was in the military. So between different departments on base, we could use AIM, and we were talking to each other for some of the stuff. Nothing that was classified, but we were talking to each other about all kinds of things that I was working on. So face-to-face conversation, it makes more sense for back then. You're either chatting an email or maybe some sort of basic text or face-to-face. Today, we have so many more options, and our video chat is more reliable, because even back then, video chat would just cut out all the time and you couldn't hear each other over the audio quality. Even today, after you've closed an audio chat or a video chat, it's like, how was the quality? Are we doing okay? You can imagine 20 years ago. So it sort of makes sense for back then, but it does not make sense at all right now. You might say, I want to be able to see your face so that when I tell you something, I can see how you react to it, which is a little bit controlling, but it makes sense, because sometimes people will try to appease you and they'll say, yeah, that's a good idea. Or they'll be like, yeah, that's a good idea. Something like that. So face to face, okay, that's a little bit good. But also in tech, IT, tech, developer centric chat systems, I'm just going to say Slack. There's so many good ways to break off threads and have side conversations, and the way it organizes the chat and the multiple possible reactions you can do, unlike something like Teams or other types of, I'd say, business modeled chat systems. The way they do threads, oh my gosh, I can't. Anyway, with these systems we have these days, not just Slack, but systems like Slack and other chat systems, and you have the ability to do voice chat and video chat, it's way more than enough. I mean, compared to email, which you can't see, but I'll put my hand on the ground. And then there's Slack with video chat or Google Meet or something like that. You have the chat systems, and they're here. And then you have face-to-face, which is maybe here. Maybe face-to-face is a little bit better. There's also drawbacks to face-to-face. If I want to do something face-to-face, I can either talk to one of my coworkers right behind the camera over here at one of the other desks and talk to them, or, okay, I got to talk to this other person, and okay, let's walk down the hall. They're just right down the hall. Of course, my immediate team, if we were in person, should all be within talking distance, but then there's your support teams and things like that, and they may be in different offices, if not on different floors. So either way, you're going to be using chat probably. You're not going to want to be getting up out of your desk. So even that slight increase, maybe face-to-face is better. Anyway, it's not necessary. I think the major goal of this is don't do email, don't do huge project planning with big documentation. Favor talking to people directly with quick communication and quick feedback, and whatever method that it takes to do that. So I'm going to make this as short a video as possible. Let me know what you think, and let me know which one you would delete if you had to delete one of these principles or values, or which ones you would enhance. I've been doing some enhancements. I think I'm going to go through and rewrite these. It's not my place. I'll be clear. It's not my place to rewrite the Agile Manifesto, but to use terms that make sense for today and try to keep the the exact spirit as much as I possible so that we can use that as the way that we communicate about the Agile Manifesto. Let me know what you would rewrite. Let me know what you would change. Let me know what you would definitely keep the same, and be clear about it. Make your point, make an argument. If you like this video, like and subscribe, and ring that bell. And I hope to see you guys next time. Thanks.